Let me ask you something directly. Have you ever felt that unbearable burning when urinating? That annoying pain in your lower abdomen that seems endless? Or that sensation that your bladder never empties completely? If the answer is yes, then you know very well what it's like to live with the constant fear of a urinary infection coming back. And the worst part, sometimes it feels like it chooses the worst possible moments to appear, doesn't it? But what almost no one tells you, and what can completely change your relationship with urinary health, is that there's a simple, natural, and safe plant that can help your body prevent cystitis by strengthening your urinary tract from the inside out. A plant so discreet that many people ignore it, but it can be the turning point between living in pain from recurring infection and finally feeling real relief. Now, before you think this is just another one of those empty promises you've heard before, I want to tell you something important. What I'm about to show you in this video has scientific backing, has been used for centuries, and has helped thousands of people regain confidence in their own bladder. So, if you're tired of antibiotics that work for a while and then lose effectiveness, if you're afraid to leave home because you never know when that burning will come back, or if you've already lost patience with treatments that never really solve the problem, this video is for you. Stay with me until the end, because today, you'll understand how something natural and accessible can be the first step toward freeing your body from urinary infection. And the best part, without relying only on medication. Before we continue, I need to ask you something very important, and for a real reason. YouTube only shows this kind of content to more people suffering from urinary infections if there's interaction. So, if you want more people to have access to information that truly makes a difference in bladder health, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments. I want to get rid of cystitis once and for all. It may seem like a simple comment, but in practice, it helps this video reach others who are going through the same pain you've probably felt. That burning that hurts even to sit, the constant urge to urinate, and the fear of the pain coming back in the middle of the night. And I know those who suffer from this can't stand miraculous promises anymore. You've tried everything: antibiotics, homemade teas, expensive medicines, and in the end, the urinary infection always comes back, as if it were waiting for the moment you relax a little to reappear. That's why this video is different. I'm not here to promise you an instant cure, but to show you how your body can protect itself naturally once it understands what it truly needs. The secret isn't just in fighting the bacteria, it's in strengthening your urinary system so that it no longer gives them space to return. So, stay with me until the end, because today you'll discover that there is a simple, safe, and natural way to take care of your bladder and restore urinary balance. And the first step starts now. Now that you already understand what cystitis is and why it keeps coming back, it's time to talk about something many people ignore: the everyday habits that keep the infection active, even when you think you're doing everything right. The first mistake is not drinking enough water. It sounds obvious, but most people who suffer from recurrent urinary infections simply don't hydrate enough. Concentrated urine irritates the bladder, favors bacterial growth, and makes it harder for the urinary tract to clean itself naturally. Drinking too little water is like leaving a river stagnant. The less it flows, the more dirt accumulates. Another common mistake is holding your pee too often. When you hold urine for a long time, you give bacteria time to multiply and stick to the bladder walls. And you know that thought of just a little longer? Well, every time you do that, you're giving the enemy the upper hand. There's also the excessive use of antibiotics, which destroy not only harmful bacteria, but also the good ones, the ones that naturally protect your urinary tract. The result? The protective flora disappears, and the infection comes back even stronger. And what few people realize is that inflammatory foods also contribute. Too much sugar, coffee, alcohol, and processed foods irritate the bladder and create the perfect environment for bacteria to return. But calm down. The good news is that your body can be rebalanced. Let me tell you something interesting. While many people keep stuffing themselves with drugs and antibiotics, there's a simple, discreet plant that grows in cold regions and has been used for centuries by ancient peoples to care for urinary health. It's not flashy, expensive, or hard to find, but what it does inside your body is simply impressive. This plant has the power to calm an irritated bladder, reduce inflammation, and help eliminate bacteria naturally, without the typical side effects of conventional medicine. And the most incredible part is that modern science is starting to confirm what ancient wisdom already knew long ago. For a long time, this herb was forgotten, replaced by chemical formulas and quick fixes. But now it's back in the spotlight, because studies show that it really has active compounds with antibacterial and anti-inflammatory effects. And best of all, it's an affordable plant that can be used naturally, as a tea, extract, or supplement. Always with care and guidance, of course. It's so powerful that many call it the bladder's shield. The plant I mentioned earlier has a curious name, Uva ursi, or Arctostaphylos uva ursi, as it's called in natural medicine. It might sound new, but it's been used for over 1,000 years as one of the most effective natural remedies for the urinary tract. And it's not just tradition. Modern science has been consistently proving its effects. Uva ursi contains a compound called arbutin, a natural substance that the body converts into hydroquinone, a powerful urinary antibacterial. That means that once metabolized, it acts directly in the urinary tract, inhibiting bacterial growth, especially Escherichia coli, the main culprit behind urinary infections and recurring cystitis. In addition, Uva ursi has anti-inflammatory and astringent properties, helping reduce swelling and bladder irritation. It also has a mild diuretic effect, stimulating the elimination of toxins and bacteria through urine, a kind of natural internal cleansing of the urinary tract. What's most interesting is that studies show that when used correctly, Uva ursi can significantly reduce recurrent urinary infection, acting as a preventive shield for those who suffer from constant flare-up. It's as if it helps your bladder remember how to protect itself. But attention, even though it's natural, it must be used wisely. When you take Uva ursi the right way, whether as tea, capsules, or extract, something very intelligent happens inside your body. Unlike other natural treatments that only relieve symptoms, this plant acts directly on the cause of urinary infection, restoring balance to the urinary tract and creating an environment where bacteria simply can't survive. Here's how it works. After Uva ursi is metabolized, its active compounds, especially arbutin, reach the bladder through urine. There, they transform into substances with antibacterial and anti-inflammatory action, fighting bacteria without harming the bladder's sensitive tissues. It's as if the plant goes to work cleaning, soothing, and strengthening the system all at once. Moreover, it helps alkalinize urine, which reduces the burning sensation when urinating and makes the environment less favorable for bacterial growth. At the same time, its mild diuretic effect makes the body produce more urine, helping eliminate unwanted microorganisms. In other words, it works on two fronts, protecting and purifying. With continuous and responsible use, the body starts to respond better. The bladder becomes less reactive, pain and urgency decrease, and that constant feeling of always being uncomfortable gives way to the lightness of clean urination, without burning and without fear. But it's important to say, the secret lies in proper use and consistency. Now that you understand how Uva ursi works in your body, it's essential to know how to use it correctly. Because, like every natural substance with real effects, it must be used with balance and responsibility. And that's exactly what makes the difference between results and frustration. The most traditional form is tea made from dried leaves, prepared with 1 tablespoon per cup of hot water. The ideal is to steep for about 10 minutes and drink once or twice a day for short periods, up to 7 consecutive days. There are also capsule or extract options, which provide more precise and practical doses, but they should always be used under the guidance of a health professional. It's important to understand that Uva ursi doesn't replace medical treatment. It's a natural support, a way to strengthen the bladder and reduce the risk of new infection. The secret? is prevention. And because it's an active plant, it shouldn't be used by pregnant or breastfeeding women, children, or people with kidney problems. Another essential point is the duration of use. Do not take it for long periods without breaks. Continuous use can irritate the stomach or overload the kidney. So, always respect the recommended intervals and listen to your body. Think of it as a temporary natural shield that helps your body rebalance. A tool that, when used correctly, can make the difference between living in fear of the next infection and finally feeling that you've regained control of your urinary health. The truth is that, as powerful as uva ursi is, it alone isn't a miracle. The body is an intelligent system, and when you help it from all sides, results appear naturally. That's why there are simple but extremely effective habits that can enhance the effect of this plant and protect your urinary health for much longer. The first one is basic but essential. Drink more water. Think of it as washing your body's filter. When you drink too little water, urine becomes concentrated, the pH gets imbalanced, and the bladder becomes irritated. But when you stay hydrated, your urinary system can eliminate bacteria much more easily. It's the first step to breaking the infection cycle. Another powerful tip is to urinate whenever you feel the urge. Don't hold it. It sounds simple, but holding in pee is one of the biggest sabotages to your urinary health. Stagnant urine is like a warm pool for bacteria to multiply. Emptying your bladder often helps sweep the urinary tract and prevents microorganisms from accumulating. Avoid inflammatory foods like coffee, alcohol, sodas, and excessive sugar. They irritate the bladder and create the perfect environment for cystitis to return. Prefer water-rich fruits, fresh vegetables, and natural food. And one more thing, urinating after sexual intercourse is a simple and effective way to flush out any bacteria that might have entered the urethra. It's a small habit, but makes a huge difference in prevention. If you combine all this with the proper use of uva ursi, you'll feel the difference. Less burning, less urgency, and a sense of relief and cleanliness that will remind you what it's like to live without fear of the next infection. If you've made it this far, congratulations. That shows you care about your body, your urinary health, and the well-being you deserve to experience every day. And maybe, for the first time in a long while, you've realized that you don't have to live as a prisoner of urinary infections. There truly is a natural, safe, and effective way to prevent cystitis and restore balance to your bladder. Uva ursi isn't a miraculous plant, it's an ally, a tool that, when used consciously and alongside good habits, helps your body return to its natural defensive state. And that's what truly makes the difference. Because real healing begins when you understand that your health depends on small daily choices: drinking more water, respecting your body's signals, eating mindfully, and never ignoring the warnings from your bladder. So if this video brought you clarity, hope, or motivation to start taking better care of yourself, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments, "I trust in the power of nature." This simple gesture helps spread knowledge and reach more people who are silently suffering from the same problem. Remember, you are not a prisoner of pain, burning, or fear of the next infection. Your body knows how to heal. It just needs the right condition. And nature, as always, is ready to help you in this process. Take care of yourself, trust your body, and keep seeking quality information. Health begins with knowledge, and you've just taken a huge step in that direction.